I'm sorry, Ubisoft canceled a what? So it goes, folks. Jolly Yellow talking to you. So it would seem that someone has recently brought out the information that Ubisoft at one time was planning an entry in the Assassin's Creed series that was going to take place in post-Civil War America, in which the player would be a former slave who learns techniques from the Templars, and then they would have their usual Assassin's Creed story. But that story was canceled due to sensitivities about the political instability in the United States right now. And they even mentioned that, the backlash that they received from having Yusuke in Assassin's Creed Shadows, despite the fact that Yusuke was a black man who actually lived in Japan and was a part of Japanese history, and people still had the negative racist reactions to it and got all upset about it. And I guess someone at Ubisoft saw that and then realized, yeah, we probably cannot do this, do this game with a former slave. We're going to get the same complaints about it being woke and this and that. And I'm sorry, that just speaks to a much larger problem going on here in America now. We currently live in an America where there are some states trying to remove education about slave trade, about Jim Crow, about the real racism that has happened in American history and even histories, in other countries, because they feel they're too sensitive about it. Oh, they don't want to upset the children or offend these people and things like that. And I'm just like, y'all, we cannot do this. We cannot become a culture that literally becomes afraid of certain topics. And let's go ahead and be real here. It's going to be those same usual suspects that would probably have jumped on social media if this game had been made, would jump on social media talking about how woke the game is, or start suddenly becoming historians trying to argue about the historical accuracy of the game or anything like that. Because you also remember when Assassin's Creed Shadows came out, there was a whole bunch of historians that suddenly appeared from nowhere talking about and questioning the historical accuracy of Yusuke being a character in the game, despite Japanese historians themselves speaking up and saying, yes, he was real, he was a part of the history, he was a real person that existed in that era, and people still tried to argue about it. So I can imagine just how stupid people would have gotten trying to argue over the legitimacy of a former slave, becoming basically a hero to the people, most likely, depending on how the story played out. So yeah, I can understand why Ubisoft would have canceled it, but it absolutely sucks that they did cancel it for those reasons, because again, we know who would have been upset if this game had been made. What do you think about this idea? Would you have played an Assassin's Creed set in post-Civil War America? Let me know. You folks have a good one. I'll yellow out.